They said I was losing it, that I wasn't capable of handling my own affairs, that I should be put in a home and my assets protected by family. Family. Ha! They didn't mean protect. They meant control, steal, strip, betray, all because I dared to age. Well, let me tell you a little story. My name is Arthur Henley. I'm 78 years old, widower, Vietnam veteran, former high school principal, proud owner of a 3-acre property in Connecticut. And 3 months ago, my own children tried to declare me legally incompetent. They forged doctor reports, hired a sleazy attorney, and got a judge to issue an emergency petition. By the time I found out, my bank accounts were frozen, my power of attorney was revoked, and my daughter was trying to sell my house. But they underestimated me, because I kept every receipt, every email, every shady voicemail, and I had one final card to play, the law. So sit back, buckle up, because this isn't just a story of a man fighting for his rights. It's a story of a father betrayed, a courtroom showdown, and how I outwitted them all, with one final move they never saw coming. Like, share, subscribe. It all started at my 78th birthday party, a quiet afternoon barbecue in the backyard. My son Greg was over, with his wife Leslie and their spoiled teenager Madison. My daughter Claire showed up late, as always, but she brought a fancy cake, which should have tipped me off something was fishy. "Happy birthday, Dad," she beamed, kissing my cheek. "You look great for 78. Still sharp as ever, huh?" I chuckled. "You bet. Still remember where I buried the bourbon." They all laughed, but the smiles didn't reach their eyes. I didn't know it then, but they were already plotting behind my back. The entire party? A show. A performance to make me feel safe, while they prepared to gut me like a fish. 2 weeks after the party, Claire visited again, alone this time. She brought me lunch from that overpriced deli she liked, and her tone was sweet. Too sweet. Like syrup over spoiled milk. "Dad," she said, placing the sandwich on the table. "I've been thinking. You've been living alone since Mom passed, and it's a lot for one person. Don't you think you deserve a break? Maybe somewhere with nurses, help, friends your age." I laughed. "You mean a nursing home?" She winced. "Not like that. A community. A place where people look after you. Where we know you're safe. Claire, I've lived here for 40 years. This house saw you take your first steps. I buried your mother under that cherry blossom tree. I'm not leaving." She smiled, but her jaw was tight. Okay. Just think about it." That night, I noticed she'd left a folder on my bookshelf, tucked between old photo albums. I opened it. Inside were brochures for assisted living, pamphlets about dementia, and, tucked in the back, a draft power of attorney form. Unsigned, but with my name on it. A week later, I received a phone call from a neurologist's office I'd never heard of. "Mr. Henley, we're confirming your upcoming evaluation appointment, per your daughter's request." What evaluation? Cognitive competency. She said you've been forgetting things, that there's been some confusion. My blood ran cold. This wasn't concern. This was sabotage. I hung up, marched to my filing cabinet, and pulled every medical record I had. Clean bill of health from my GP just 2 months ago. No signs of dementia. No forgetfulness beyond misplacing my glasses. And Claire was trying to rewrite that. I called my lawyer, Carl Morgan, an old friend, semi-retired but sharp as a tack. "Carl," I said, "my kids are trying to put me away." He didn't even laugh. "Let's meet. Bring everything. And Arthur, don't talk to them until you do." Carl walked me through it. Claire had already filed a petition for conservatorship. "They're using the term temporary guardianship due to cognitive decline," he explained. "It's clever. They don't need to prove long-term incompetency. Just enough doubt to freeze your assets. And she gets control? He nodded. She and Greg both. Joint control. Over everything. House, bank, medical decisions. Even selling your property. I sat back, stunned. They can't do this to me. They already started. But Arthur, we're not out yet. You can fight this. And I have a few tricks of my own. He gave me a recorder. Start recording everything. Calls, visits, notes. If they're staging a case, they'll slip. And when they do, we'll be ready. I hid the recorder inside a fake flower pot by the living room window, the one Greg always stood near when he paced on his phone. Carl was right. They would slip. Claire came over the next day. She didn't bring lunch this time. Just her iPad and a stack of printed documents. Dad, I need you to sign a few things, just for insurance. Power of attorney stuff. You know, so we can help if anything happens. Insurance doesn't require POA, I said casually, sipping my coffee. She looked flustered. Well, it's more of a precaution. Leave them. I'll read them later. The recorder caught everything, including the part where she muttered, "He's more stubborn than I thought." Claire returned a week later with Greg in tow. This time, they brought backup, a nurse. Dad, this is Marissa. She's a home health professional. She just wants to check your vitals, and maybe ask a few questions. No pressure. Looks like pressure to me. Greg spoke up. Come on, Dad. Humor us. Just routine. Marissa was polite, but clearly coached. The questions came quickly. What day is it? Who's the president? What's your address? I answered each one clearly, then intentionally flubbed one. Who's the president, Mr. Henley? Benedict Arnold. Claire gasped. Greg looked at me like I'd sprouted horns. Then I smiled. Kidding. It's Biden. They didn't laugh. But the recorder picked up everything. Later that night, I caught them whispering outside on the porch. Greg. He's playing us. Claire. Then we push harder. File the petition. He won't see it coming. Oh, but I did. Greg returned alone the next evening. He brought bourbon, my favorite brand, and a fake olive branch. Dad, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. You're still sharp. You've got your wits. I just worry, you know? What if something happens and we're not there to help? You mean help yourselves? No, come on. Don't say that. You raised us better than this. Did I? He stayed for 2 hours, drank just enough to loosen his tongue, and the recorder didn't miss a word. Especially this line. Once the papers are through, we'll be able to move on the house. I've already got a buyer interested. Claire's handling the judge. Boom. That night, I got a call I never expected, from Madison. Greg's daughter. 17, opinionated, and more tech-savvy than the rest of them put together. Grandpa, I think what Dad and Aunt Claire are doing is messed up. How do you know about it? I saw texts on my dad's phone. He bragged about getting you declared unfit. Said you'd never see it coming. I already did. She hesitated. Do you want me to help? I can screenshot the texts. I have his call logs too. I smiled for the first time in weeks. Yes, Madison. I want you to help. Little did they know, their own daughter was about to burn their entire plan to the ground. The hearing was set for a Monday morning. Probate court. I wore my old Marine Corps blazer and brought Carl, my lawyer, and a small flash drive. Greg and Claire arrived smug, all dressed up, flanked by their attorney, a slick-haired man who looked like he specialized in divorces and stealing retirement funds. The judge, a woman named Hartley, asked if we were prepared. Carl stood. Your Honor, we have evidence rebutting every claim in the petition, including real-time recordings and documentation of malicious intent. He inserted the flash drive. Greg's voice filled the courtroom. Once the papers are through, we'll be able to move on the house. I've already got a buyer interested. Claire's handling the judge. Gasps. The judge looked stunned. Claire went pale. Greg tried to speak, but Carl held up another file. Your Honor, we also have testimony from the petitioner's minor daughter confirming intentional fraud. Madison stepped forward. I stood. Your Honor, I'm 78, not 98. I misplace my glasses, not my mind. I raised 2 children who have turned my aging into a business opportunity, and I'm done pretending I didn't see it. I turned to Claire and Greg. You wanted to lock me away, steal my home, silence me. But you forgot one thing. I taught debate for 35 years. And I keep every receipt. The courtroom was silent. Judge Hartley looked at the opposing counsel. Anything further? He shook his head. Case dismissed. Petition denied. All rights restored. I exhaled. But I wasn't done yet. After court, the silence between us was deafening. Claire stormed out without saying a word, but Greg lingered. He walked up to me, that fake calm voice he always used when he was caught. This isn't over, Dad. I stared at him. Yes, Greg, it is. And don't come back unless you're ready to apologize to my face, and to your daughter. He scoffed, then turned on Madison. You ungrateful little. You lied to a judge, Dad, she snapped. You tried to steal Grandpa's house. I'm not covering for that. Carl stood between them. I suggest you both leave before we press charges for elder fraud. And Greg, I've still got the voicemail you left Arthur in March. Remember that one. Greg and Claire were now officially cut off. The next week, I met with Carl again. We opened my old will. Claire and Greg were originally co-executors. My home was to be split between them, with cash assets and a small trust for Madison. That changed. Strike Greg and Claire completely, I said. Name Madison as sole heir. If she chooses to forgive her father, that's her choice. But she earned my trust the hard way. Carl smiled. Done. I added one last clause, a formal restriction barring Greg or Claire from ever contesting the document. Let them try. I had enough evidence to keep them in court for the rest of their lives. Claire showed up one evening, unannounced. Alone, crying. Dad, I messed up. I listened to Greg. I thought we were protecting you. Stop lying. You were protecting your inheritance. She broke. I lost my job. I was behind on my mortgage. I panicked. I thought if we could move you to assisted living, we could steal my house. She nodded slowly. Claire, I taught you better. I buried your mother under that cherry tree out back. You wanted to tear it down for a pool. She sobbed. Is there any way back from this? Yes, but not through me. Through your daughter. And you've got a long road ahead. I shut the door. I spent the summer rebuilding the garden. Madison came every weekend, planting sunflowers and repainting the shed. We talked about her dreams. She wanted to study law. Said she liked how Carl handled the courtroom. I told her she'd be better. For the first time since Eleanor died, I wasn't angry when the house was quiet. I read books again. Cooked real meals. Walked the property lines each morning like I used to. Not because I had to, because I could. They tried to take my freedom, my voice, my dignity. But I'm still standing, still free, still Arthur Henley. Madison got into NYU, pre-law. I co-signed her apartment lease, but she insisted on paying rent with her job at the campus library. Greg sent a letter last month, full of half apologies and legal threats. I fed it to the fire pit. Claire calls sometimes. We talk, but not deeply. She knows better now. That trust isn't rebuilt with words. It's rebuilt with time and actions. My will sits in a locked drawer. Not out of fear. Out of finality. So if you're watching this, and you think you're too old to fight back, Don't believe it. They underestimated me, and I took everything back. Like, share, subscribe.